done digging around in there, Bill?
Trying to find my pen in here. I've got a couple of them. So.
You need a pen?
No, I got a couple in here. I just have to do my spring cleaning.
Okay, that's going, we're recording.
There's our candidates. I thought they'd be here to harass us.
Guys, you're on live. You're live.
Okay. We're live. Live.
You're ready anytime you are, Mr. Chairman.
Cal's not going to be here, right?
Who?
Cal, Edmund?
Cal.
Oh, okay.
Gentlemen, are we ready? Bill?
Yep.
You got your mic on?
Yeah.
I don't know if I should wear it or not. It's the same one we had trouble with the other night, so.
We gotta turn it on.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
It worked much better that way.
Is the red light on?
Red light district.
Madam Clerk, we ready?
We're ready,
My
sir.
engineer in charge of
We got it.
Vernon Town Board of Supervisors meeting for March 21st, 2019, 6 p.m. Come to order. All rise for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Chairman Thomas Byrd.
Present.
Supervisor Jeff Millies.
Present.
Supervisor Gary Wildy.
Present.
Supervisor Ed Moline.
Present.
Supervisor Bill Craig. Mr. Chairman, note for the record that you do have a quorum of your town board.
Open meetings law compliance.
Mr. Chairman, the agenda was posted inside and outside the Vernon Town Hall to the media, to other businesses within the town of Vernon. You are in full compliance with the open meetings law.
Thank you. Public comments. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? The record show there's no public comments. Do you have a public comment?
No,
Yeah.
you're going to show your signs?
Yeah.
They'll probably call you up.
Okay.
All right, miscellaneous matters. Following matters will be discussed and possible action taken by the town board unless otherwise noted. Item A is discussion of the Eagle Scout projects in the town of Vernon. The Eagle Scouts have had a, what would you call that, Madam Clerk?
A family
A
emergency
family
or...
emergency. And we're going to just postpone that. I didn't want to amend the agenda for that, and I just wanted to postpone that for 2 weeks or till they feel they want to come back with that. Border agreement information meetings. I put that on there just to let the board members comment on the 2 informational meetings we had. I thought they were good, a lot of good questions. A lot of people said that if they would have known or would have been told properly and truthfully of what it was all about, that they never would have even come close to signing it. So I still consider that this is the best option for the town. And the other opinions that are out there are just that, opinions. Jeff?
Yeah, I had a lot of the same comments. You know, people, once they understood what was going on, all of a sudden were in favor of it. And they didn't realize what they signed before and regretted doing so with that petition. Also, I wanted people to know, I've been in this town since I've been, family moved here when I was 2 years old. Pretty much here the whole time except for a few college years. Raised my family here, went to McConaughey High School. We have a family business here in town, which is one of the largest property taxpayers in the town. And I just want to do what's best for the town. Unfortunately, this board agreement does negatively affect a few of the residents, but overall, this is a very good thing for the town to protect our border. I want people to realize that we do have the best interest for the town and looking out and want to preserve the town and keep it the way it is.
Yeah, what they say. Their opinion is no agreement is better than a disagreement. That is nothing but grade A hogwash.
And when you look at the last 30 years and how many acres we've lost to
Exactly.
annexation,
Well, since 2002 to present, we lost 3,700 acres. This right here is a little over 2,000. So, hey,
without it, I feel in 30 years there'd be a lot more land being lost.
and we weren't giving the subdivisions away, and we're not putting any sewer outside of the area. So their opinions are way skewed. Gary?
Yeah, I was at the information hearing myself. I talked to numerous people and trying to clarify, to counteract that the flyer that went out, because there was so much misinformation that people were confused as to what are we actually trying to do. Well, the ones that were here were, by the time we got done explaining it to them, I think they understood that this is the best thing that we can work with Mugwanago. We don't have any, we're not coming from a position of strength. We're coming from a position of trying to protect ourselves. We don't have a lot of options to do. This is one of the most secure way to prevent annexations in the future from the western end of the town. I hear a lot of people say, well, what other alternatives are there? And there's people that are running against us for office haven't been able to present any kind of information to establish what their plan is for the town, in the future. They just want to stop this border agreement. Well, this border agreement is the only way that's going to take care of the town for now and for the future, way into the future. So hopefully this will continue on, and we'll sign this thing and put it in place. I know it's, like Jeff said, I've been out here 43 years, and this is our first opportunity that we've had to get an agreement in place that will help secure the western end of the town.
And it's signed. It's not just laying there. It's a signed agreement.
Yeah,
Both of us signed it. It's a signed agreement.
Yep.
And the process of it is 10 years, 20 years, and 30 years. Yeah, there's triggers, but those triggers, those people have to still apply to the village. The village still has to take them. All of that state statute, that's all has to go yet. It's all in process.
Yep.
The only thing those triggers do is that we're saying we're not going to fight it. That's another thing they don't tell everybody.
Another thing that wasn't mentioned either, is in our first informational meeting, after hearing the people's comments, we went back to the town and made changes. One subdivision up there that was going to go in 10 years, they just put one property owner put a new septic system in. So we changed that subdivision not to go for 30 years. And then also they're allowed to have horses on their properties. And they're going to be the only properties in the village of Mugwanago that will be allowed to have horses.
Right? Yeah, but those people don't want to get bogged down in that.
So we did listen to people's concerns, and we did make some changes based on what we heard.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
there was a lot of negotiation that was taking place.
Yeah, there was another concession made for the two boys, for Ralph, and we did everything we could within talking terms with Mugwanago. I mean, there's only so much change they're going to let you do because they're in the driver's seat. I'd like to mention, if I may, Carl was pretty rude during the whole thing in my mind. He mentioned he was an attorney. That's very important. He's a tax attorney. But he never picked on a budget issue, if you noticed. If you're a tax attorney and you're going to come after us, I would have assumed financial issues would have been the key issue for you. But I think it's pretty obvious we've done a pretty good job for the town in holding taxes, running a fiscally responsible board, and fiscal responsibility continues through with this border agreement. you know, if we keep letting people just eat us and eat us and eat us piece by piece, we lose tax revenue, just like we've done with that border agreement. But at least the border agreement's controlled. We know when it's gonna happen, we can plan for it. There are things that can be accomplished in the interim, knowing that's taking place. Whereas all of a sudden somebody grabs 70 acres down into Big Bend, we have no idea what's going on until it's in us, and there's nothing you can do about it. The village has priority over us, so Mr. Porter, if you're gonna argue, please be polite first off. Don't call people liars. That really doesn't go too far. And give us some ideas of what your real program is. Not just, you're not gonna do this, we're not gonna have a border agreement. What are you gonna do in place of it to stop annexation? I don't know of anything else that's gonna stop annexation. This consolidation program sure didn't work. That was $100,000 down the drain, and nothing happened.
100,000 plus.
100,000 plus, and nothing happened.
4 years on
He
the
doesn't
board.
talk about that. He was on the board for that. And if you'd like to come in and watch the videos, I'm sure you can see where he called Tom a liar because he didn't say something. It's on tape. I mean, it's not difficult to prove. So that's my opinion. I think it was a very good forum overall, but it's a shame we didn't get 3 people having a discussion here instead of 1. And that 1 was basically the driving force between the whole issue. So it would have been just 2 echoes of what he was saying, I believe. That's what I have.
Bill?
Well, I've mentioned at least once at a meeting prior that when I saw the petition for the forum going around, I knew quite a few people who signed it, so I took the liberty to start.
Bill, put your mic by your
Oh,
mouth.
it's still not.
Yeah.
Ed's got
It's
it
on.
It's on.
Yeah, but you gotta put it by your mouth.
Oh, that's, okay, I'm sorry. At least at several instances, I brought up the fact that when I saw the petition going around, after hearing some of the verbiage prior to it, I took upon myself to call a few of these people who I knew fairly well and just find out what they were told. Well, one party was pretty upset because it turns out he was totally misinformed and had given the lady who showed up at his door the courtesy of giving her coffee and donuts while he was signing the petition. He said, had I known any of this, there wouldn't have been any donuts. I don't know about the coffee. But this was a very common reaction. Gary kind of touched on it before. I think I probably called about 10 people. Several more were asking questions at our public hearings here. And they were all very surprised that, number one, we're just not giving land away. This was spoken of as a board giving away land. We don't know why, but the board's just giving away land. So a lot of people left here those evenings, I believe, being well informed. And then, as was brought up at the meeting the other evening, there were 928 signatures, but probably 700 and some valid. So that's another issue. I'm concerned how things were misrepresented, not represented, not done properly. Some of the last flyers were actually illegally put behind mailbox flags, illegal, federal violation of law, put in mailbox, illegally, federal violation of law. It's too bad. Just a lot of misinformation, bad information. And I talked about this at a prior meeting. My definition of a half-truth is a lie. If I tell someone half the story, leave the other half out, I'm lying, because I'm leading them to think in a certain way, deceiving them for whatever reason I have. You might as well tell a bold-faced lie, as I say. I read this article that was in an insert in a journal on Wednesday, I believe, and there was a comment made by a candidate. The only permanent solution is to incorporate the town as a village or city. Well, I was sitting right here Tuesday night, and I remember, and we can play a tape, Bill Craig stating that a year ago this board went to Madison, met with DOA, Department of Administration, who was authorized to make a judgment on annexations, consolidations, and I made it very clear that our board was told by DOA, you're not able to incorporate. As a village, as a city, you do not have a business district. There's businesses, but it's not a concentrated business district. Part of it has to do with sewer, water, and so on. I made that perfectly clear. Yet a candidate comes to the newspaper the next day and states exactly what we were told by the state is an impossibility, as a recommendation. I mean, is that what we want to have in this community as a board? We're going back about 15 years then. There was also a comment that says it's difficult to pick one issue of many. The author of the article asked the candidates, two of the candidates, what are your priorities for the town? What do you see? And that's an answer. It's difficult to pick one issue of many, whether it is protecting our borders, keeping our property taxes low, keeping our residents informed and truthful. What? If you don't have protection of your borders, you don't have a town. You don't have anything except a depleting tax base, roads to maintain, other things to maintain, bills to pay. That's the whole idea. Number one is protect your borders so you survive long enough to show your kids and grandkids someday that there's still a town they grew up in. So that's all I have right now.
Yeah, I think that the informational meetings, we've got one more coming up on the, I'll say the day later, but as long as we're on it, we've got one more coming up in March 26th of March from 5 to 7. So if somebody still has some questions or wants to come and look at the maps, talk to us, we've got one more session from 5 to 7 on the 26th of March. That'll be next week. Okay, next week, Tuesday. So, any other comments on...
Just one more. I mean, you were talking about managing and how he's so good at managing everything here. Bill mentions he had a group of people going around stuffing mailboxes. He couldn't even get his group together and explain to them what the laws are.
Who are you talking about? He?
Mr. Fortner had posting or these flyers put into people's mailboxes or tied to their flags. He said it was his responsibility, but apparently he never thought to manage that process by getting people together and explain what the laws are. So if you can't manage a mailing for crying out loud, how's he going to manage a town?
Well, this article here too, but I had a person ask me at the meeting that, well, why can't we consolidate? And we told them what we had. And the consolidation, it was tried back. If you remember when I gave in January and February, I went through all of this stuff. Consolidation was tried when Fortner was on the town board back in '98 till 2002, and it came up with a big fail. They went and they spent a lot of money. They went and they spent money on studies. That bunch, and this bunch, and I'll give you these back for you tonight, Madam Clerk, so you can stay on file. That these were for incorporation and consolidation. $102,000 on 4 inches of paperwork that's laying on a shelf in there that we were told by the court you can't do it. We were told by the state you can't do it. And that's only for this. And we did Karen did the research, went back to these people and found out that was nothing for the attorney fees. I told, she wanted to look it up, and I said, just don't waste your time on that. The attorney fees is probably that much or more. So, the litigation part of this, if you're going to incorporate, is unbelievable. And I wouldn't be in favor of it. I wouldn't spend a penny on it. If we can lock our borders in with agreements, We were told by the state, if we can lock them in with agreements, you don't have to incorporate, period. You don't have to.
One question that kept coming up, Tom, this is in perpetuity.
Exactly.
This is not something that, 10 years from now, another board can come in and change all that around. It's in perpetuity. It's a contract in perpetuity. To change it, both parties would basically have to agree to the change. That ain't gonna happen.
Well, I'm gonna read that. Good thing you brought that up. I've got.
I've had a lot of people ask, when does this end? It doesn't.
The intergovernmental cooperation plan between McGuanago and the town of Vernon. And on page 3, item A, it reads, the duration of the planning period shall stretch over 30 years. Now that's the 10-year, the 20-year, and the 30-year. To allow property owners to determine when they are ready to have their property transferred to the village and the access to the village services. The terms of the agreement shall be consistent with the planning period, except as follows. Territory outside the village growth area, and in all of this agreement, shall have perpetuity and unlimited term with the express intent to hereby forever define the security and the boundaries of the town and the village. Forever, in perpetuity. And then N and O is the agreement is intended to define the rights and responsibility of both parties with respect to the boundaries change to occur within the term of the agreement. And it says no other modifications to the boundary between the parties shall occur within the terms of the agreement at any time. Then item O, as a condition of this agreement, which forms a significant part of the consideration for the town entering into this agreement, the village agrees that it will also not object to any petition for incorporation or consolidation of the town, subject, however, to the performance by the town of the terms of conditions of this agreement. The village agrees that its support will include, at the town's request, written communications, oral communications with such government authorities as the town may direct to express the village has no obligation to the town's application. So what that says, they won't fight it if we try to it. If the laws ever changed, the town board wanted that in there, so we could. If the laws change, that you don't need all of that stuff. I don't foresee it happening, but it's in there. So, we're covered in perpetuity, and we're covered if the laws change. So, when these people come around and tell you there's no advantages, there's a hell of a lot of advantage in here. They just are too...
Can you mention everybody in public what the numbers are? I mean,
I don't really want to say that.
We're protecting a large number of the community and giving up a very small number. 66 properties, is it?
66.
Against how many other properties?
2,978.
Yeah, so what we're giving up is, what was it said, you can't please all the people all the time. You have to give something and get something. It's sad it had to happen. Nobody really wanted it to happen that way. We'd love to go on and say, we'd like to lock it where it is right now. They have no interest in doing that. They got a business district they're looking at in the southeast part of their town, and they're building it like crazy. So it was going to come eventually. It's inevitable. So rather than get eaten up and not know where you are, and not be able to plan, now we can plan.
Not to mention, a lot of those farmers' properties are going to increase in value because they were unbuildable without sewer and water.
Yeah.
So it's a benefit to many of the residents over there.
Yeah, a lot of this is unbuildable land, county land. I mean, it's not all properties. That's what people should understand.
At the last informational at the village of McGuanago, we had that hearing and let the people talk. There were hardly any that opposed it. What I heard mostly for, I would say, half of that meeting was the people who were talking to McGuanago that what do they have to do so they can get into the village, and how much property do they need, and how many lots they can make out of what they have. So, but, you know, and Fortner was sitting right there listening, but he didn't say that.
No, he won't say that, but
No,
if you
he
look
won't.
at the maps, you're gonna see there's some very large single properties in there that are farms. And as these people decide they don't wanna farm anymore and they wanna sell off to some builder, their options to make money just improve 300%, you know? It's way up there.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, we still hate to see them go, but that's life.
anybody else got any other comments? All right. Public hearing for the Town of Vernon Comprehensive Land Use Amendment, April 17th, and informational meeting. I put this in here so we can comment on that. Anybody have any comments on that, for that informational on the comprehensive land use plan?
Well, that's one point where Mr. Fortner actually stood over there talking to our planner and agreed that this was a good plan. Rather than let our southern friend, southwest neighbor eat us alive, we're going to be changing some land use to allow for smaller lots, matching what they have for their zoning, and thereby giving them an option to say, okay, now the zoning's equal, would you like to pay $214, or would you like to pay $887 for taxes? I think we won on that one. So that's it was a good move. Tom came up with that idea, presented it to the board, and nobody balked at that one. That just seemed like a great way to solve a problem we could live with. So we worked on that. Our planner's diligently gone through and laid those lots out, and we're progressing on that right now. I didn't hear a negative comment through the whole thing.
I want to mention too, the reason why we didn't do this sooner, because we were under county zoning
Yeah.
and couldn't do this.
Right.
Now that they're out of zoning, we're able to do this. That's why it's taken us this long to come up with this
Exactly.
plan.
Yeah, I should have mentioned.
Gary?
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. I didn't hear one negative comment. There's a fairly large crowd here, and those individuals that were here, once we explained to you what the reasoning was behind doing this, were 100% in favor of it. You know, it will basically shut down annexation into the village of Big Bend based on zoning and lot size, because that's about all the village of Big Bend can offer those property owners is change the zoning and change the lot size. Now, if we correspond to their zoning code and also their lot size along that corridor we were talking about, there goes the incentive to go into Big Bend. You know, like Eddie said, you want to pay $2.14 a thousand, or you want to pay $8 and some odd cents a thousand.
Well, you gotta remember that this is the second phase of what we're doing. We've got the border agreement with Guanaco, so the west side of town is sealed off. We've got that. We've got a signed agreement.
Right.
Now we have to deal with the village of Big Bend, and this at least gets us into the game, as I call it, because we got the same zoning as they do.
Yeah, we shouldn't be hearing about these now. If somebody really wanted to go, we'll know about it before it starts really building momentum.
Exactly.
Which we have in the past, and
Right.
that's scary, because you don't know what you're going to lose.
And then the third phase will be with Muskego and New Berlin.
And I don't really think there's going to be a lot of issue there.
No.
We haven't had any real aggression from that side.
They have limitations too,
Yeah.
on those, you know, because of water and sewer.
Yeah.
Well, Muskego, their water is from MMSD, and
Yeah.
it's from, I think.
City of
it's
Milwaukee won't let them expand their water system beyond the Continental
Well,
Divide,
it's over the
which
continental
is
divide.
basically crowbar.
Exactly.
They got to give back what they take out.
Yep.
We just got to keep mentioning to people, if they think about that, talk to the residents who were promised sewer and water by years and years now. I mean, he had the sign up here on 164 for cages.
Sewer is coming.
He took it down. It's gone. And I think he knows it's gone, as far as an opportunity and option. So hopefully that option
Well, I think part of
is
that
gone too.
is that they know now they'll never get sewer from Guanaco.
Nope.
Never happen. They won't get it from the city of Waukesha. And
Their only alternative is to build their own sewer treatment plant, you know, which is.
we don't have the money.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
And once they realize that we got the same zoning as them around, maybe, just maybe, they'll wanna sit down and talk.
That'd be nice.
That would be nice. Maybe talks about some type of agreement, or maybe not. We'll see.
Their choice.
That's right. Bill?
I'm glad Jeff reminded us here a little while ago about the ability to be under our own zoning, because I recall someone at one of the hearings bringing up the issue, well, why are you bothering to do this with surrounding communities if you can't get Big Bend to agree on it? Well, because we're out from under the county and can look at our own zoning now and make changes where we need to, that puts the pressure on Big Bend to do something also. And I should point out, I can't, maybe Karen would have a history, but it goes back many, many years that boards in Vernon have tried to get out from under county zoning and could not do it. I remember budgets every year, we had a separate item opting out of county zoning. Our attorney's budget share was about 25 to 30 grand some years just for studying, opting out of zoning, going to meetings, writing recommendations. So the board finally negotiating with Waukesha County, we proved we know what we're doing zoning wise. And the help of the legislature, we actually were able to get out from under county, not only saving us that legal fee every year, but also now enabling us to have some ability to go on the offensive with our agreement with Big Bend. Because I remember at least one party saying, well, why are you bothering with these other municipalities if we can't get Big Bend into an agreement anyway?
We had one individual come in during the meeting, and sadly, he was one of the people that right before we got out of zoning, had to deal with Waukesha County and us, and was kind of bounced back and forth between the planners, ran up a pretty good sized legal bill, and was telling us he held no bad feelings, he understood what took place there, but wished he'd have done it like a year later when we were out of zoning. He'd have saved a ton of money.
Well,
Because you don't have to satisfy both sets of conditions, which may not even be the same in some cases.
It was
Now they
usually
are.
a 2-year process.
It was, yeah.
County zoning.
It was.
Something.
And he's
That's
so
what that's
happy to
for.
be in zoning now, and he's so happy to be in Vernon now, he's signed up for, or gonna apply for a couple of our committees and work with us, so it's nice to have people like that on board.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Town Board Appreciation of the Candidates Forum. I wanted to put that on there. I just wanted to let Merle and Joe and Madam Clerk, the timekeeper, that appreciate all the work they did for those forums. And I just wanted to say thank you publicly to Joe and Merle and Karen for doing what they did.
I echo that also. It was well conducted and it was useful. I hope there was a bunch of people watching because it will help clarify a lot of positions in regards to the candidates and where they stand. An informed voter is a thing that we all strive for, you know. And this is one way to tackle that, is these forums. I think you should be here to express your opinions, or people don't have any idea what to vote for. You know, you're just voting for a face or a, oh, I like the name. It's like picking a horse because you like the color of the blanket the thing's got.
Don't say that, my wife used the window in there.
That's not too often come out of it.
No, and that's true.
Bill, you got any comment?
I did express the other evening my gratitude for the same people for doing what they're doing, and it's obvious that our clerk, who has been practicing ringing that bell because it comes through loud and clear.
The dinner bell.
Yeah. Ed, did you bring up the point that people showing up there at the forum?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it was various in the first forum. None of the other people showed up. And at the second forum, one showed up. And then one showed up in the crowd about halfway through. Couldn't figure that out. I think there was something there that and it was the one that's the elected official. Showed up in the crowd but didn't want to sit at the table and answer questions. That to me is kind of, I don't understand that.
Should tell you something.
Maybe she could come in tonight and tell us what she didn't want to, I don't know. But
We'd open public comments for it, wouldn't we?
yeah, sure.
You know, I always said it's good to have choices on the ballot and to hear people's opinions on what they're running on. But when they don't show up at a public forum to express their viewpoints, how are they taking the position seriously?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Advertising sponsorship policy.
Yay.
That would be, I'm going to kind of defer this to Jeff because I missed the last meeting.
All right. If you notice in your packet, you got 3 different policies here. The first policy is what we originally have as our changes. Then Supervisor Craig submitted a bunch of his changes, which is in the yellow and green, the second one. And then we were talking with Macy the other day, our attorney. He said Bill's changes were so significant it would take us over an hour. So we went back and worked out the first one.
You're generating work for an attorney.
So the third policy in the packet, the last one there, is what we worked on, the changes that Attorney Macy, our clerk Karen Chu, and myself came up with.
No problem.
The changes are all in red there that we made. Do you have any questions about any of the...
Just one more thing so it's on the record. The third version was reviewed by Attorney Macy,
Well, it wasn't reviewed, we worked on it together with him, and he didn't see the final...
but his input
Yeah,
is incorporated in what we got here.
I recorded verbatim what he said and Jeff said, read it back.
So it's basically the same as having been reviewed after.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
He authored.
He didn't have any big outstanding errors that he saw.
He would just clarify issues with Jeff, and when Jeff and John were working together, I would type what they'd say. I'd read it back. Jeff would agree. The attorney would agree. They'd make a change. So it is reviewed.
And these changes took us an hour to do too, which isn't like much that's on here.
Can we put something on here like as agreed with Attorney Macy?
Oh, if the board approves, it'll be in the footer. When it was first adopted, revisions approved and approved by reviewed and approved by town attorney on such and such date.
Good, yeah. That clears the air on that issue.
So someone that comes after us knows that when the last legal review was.
I don't know.
Thank you.
I think it addressed most of the concerns that we had, and when we gave this off to Jeff and Bill to look at with the attorney, I think it answers most of the questions I had.
Yeah, if I'd like someone to explain to me the very first sentence, kind of rambled, and I read it and read it and read it, and it just is not a proper sentence. But I know as Jeff said, I submitted a lot of changes on most of them during my breaks at seminars. But anyway.
What sentence you talking about?
The first one.
Purpose of advertising policy?
Supervisor Bill Craig, the attorney specifically, it took, I think that sentence alone, he wanted to hit every feasible part of what that policy initiates by the first sentence. That's why it's so significant. I think we redrafted that at least 10 times.
We probably spent a half hour in that first paragraph.
Well, for example, we say standards and guidelines for the sale of advertising within town parks, specifically on fences surrounding baseball, football, rugby, soccer fields, by the town. What's by the town?
So
We don't- you
Or
must-
by an organization, that, what,
Where are you reading that?
First sentence, Karen.
second line
The
of the.
purpose of the
sentence.
advertising policy.
It just does not flow as.
Well, it is including us. If we're selling it or another organization is selling advertising.
Yeah, it covers both entities.
Okay, for the sale of advertising.
That's what it
by
is.
the town or by an organization, that.
Well, it sounds like that could have been shorted to that, Bill, but Macy probably wanted to stick in every
Yeah.
thing. It's baseball, football, rugby, soccer, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to
Why we
that,
had to
but
get
it's
that
just, I
specific.
think it could have been done as two sentences.
I do
Very
too.
quick.
It's run on.
But that's up to the board. And then, I just had a note here today, organization affected down the next item. I just said applies to all who intend to post advertising on or on and so on. It says here, this policy applies to all with the intent to, I guess we're meaning all who have the intent to advertise, but we're not saying it. So I guess it's up to the board at this point. The only other thing I don't understand is if you go to the third page, under organizations, activities which will not be considered a sponsorship, that is really part of the thought under prohibited advertising on page 2, and I don't see why those 5 bullet points aren't pulled into the prohibited advertising part, because they're items that we don't want to be advertised. So, that's, I don't know what the attorney said about that, but. So I'll go with what the board wants to do, I just,
You know, I look at it as a separate issue, Bill. An organization that wishes to advertise is different than business that's being advertised. It could be two different things.
well, it's.
You could have, you know, some Nazi party wanting to sell space. Are we gonna allow this group to do it because they're kind of a discriminatory group, even though their banners may not be? So it's covering both sides of it.
But that, Jeff, is being covered by the approval of a recommendation by the Park and Rec Director and/or the DPW Director. So that Nazi sign would be screened out before we ever got to that part. So it's all advertising we don't want. I just feel it should all be in one paragraph of bullet points. But
Bill, don't you think that, that the prohibited advertising and the organizations are two, to me, I read that as the prohibited advertising is one issue, but the second issue that this agreement is focusing on is the organization / activity. I think they're two separate. I don't think he's spelling out what the organization is, but I think we all know what organizations could include this type of activity.
There's a big overlap.
Right. So I think that's what the delineation is one is what the advertising is, and the other is an organization that
Who's
promotes.
behind it?
Right. I think that's my interpretation, Bill.
I kind of felt like Bill did on this one. If you go down 6 bullet points on prohibited advertising, advertisements are deemed demeaning or discriminatory to individuals or groups on the basis of race, color, religion, nation. And then you jump over to the next page where organization, which may be construed as discriminatory. That's the same thing to me. And I can walk down some other bullet points and find other things. If you grouped, looked at it and wrote out the ones that are duplicated in my mind, you'd probably end up with 2 more to go on the first page.
So those are the points I had.
If you wanna say it twice, I don't see a problem.
Sometimes it's better to have too much.
I'll drive a point on one.
Yeah.
And with the attorney, he wanted to make sure everything was covered, he could think of that. Protect us.
I did see that email that said something to the effect that Joe Perry's gonna take a whole day just to review.
Can I have a nap?
That's my paraphrase. So,
Anything you strongly object to enough that we should review this again?
no.
In that case, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the advertising and sponsorship policy as written, the third version.
I'll second it, and I'd like to add the comment that I did talk to our Park and Rec Director, Mike, and he was okay with
Is
all the
agreeing with
changes.
this? Did John see this?
Yeah. I
It was
don't
mentioned.
Yes.
in the DPW.
John Henneberg, yes, he did.
Okay. Good to go?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Now,
Yay.
You can breathe easier now, Jeff.
And Dan, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, advertising sponsorship policy for sign approval for Fox River Bandits.
There you go.
Mr. Chairman, you want them to come up now?
Sure.
So,
Introduce yourself there so the public knows who you are.
Dan
Yep.
Fresky, Walk Shop. So the banners that we shared with you last time, and I believe Karen also shared those images. Those images that we're sharing will be produced, the 3x5 and then one 4x8 banner. So those are the exact way that they will look. What we did want to show you tonight, though, as a board, is these are our donations to the town to help refurbish some of the signage that's out there. So Josh, who's a resident and also on our board of directors, if you wouldn't mind grabbing the first sign here. This will replace the signage of Hackett Field. One of our local,
Oh,
one
is
of our
that
local,
nice?
sign makers.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson, come up from, put it right in front of Dan.
We came out here and measured everything up. So again, this is, it was hand painted by the gentleman that we work with for all of our signs. So this will go up and replace the one that's out there that's peeling and cracking. And we wanted to make it look exactly like that sign that's out there. And then we also have a couple of others. This right here will replace the Bob Meyer diamond that's out there now to help mark the field. It's a little bit bigger than what's there. And we have two of those. And then we also have some other signage that we put up as well, just to show that we're here and that we're part of this town and in it together with you guys. So these will go up. My other coach and I, we're going to be down here tomorrow night, and we're going to be installing the backstop that we painted, and we'll be putting down there on the west field. And then we're going to be spending some time on what holds up the Hackett Field sign. We're going to repaint that for the town as well. So we've got a couple of other things that we're planning on doing to again, in good faith and goodwill, show that we're trying to help the town and upkeep its position in this community. So,
That's so nice, you guys. So nice. I'm sure the families that are related to some of the signs, I'm sure they're really going to appreciate that.
I hope so. We wanted to keep it, as close as possible to what it looked like, and this will last longer than what's out there now.
Very nice.
All your time was coordinated with John, so he knows somebody's down there working on something.
Yep, we told John we'll be down there, and we're talking with the contractor as well about the field maintenance and things like that. We're still working to try to find dirt as soon as possible, but people aren't digging yet. Still although it's spring, it's still winter here.
John has a supplier for the special dirt Peter on the fields.
Yep.
Did he help you with that at all?
Yeah, we're meeting with them on Friday evening when we're down here. We're going to talk about exactly what we're doing to the field.
How many commitments for signs have you got? All the ones that are in this packet?
All the ones that are in that
Those
packet.
are all committed people?
8 or 9, right?
Yeah, there's, I think there's a total of 10. Yeah, so, so again, we'll provide, based on what we sold the advertising at, or we received as a sponsorship, we didn't sell it, we received as a sponsorship. From that, we'll provide 10% back to the town, based on that, so.
Okay.
And we're looking to grow, so anyone that's watching, not to take away from Parks and Rec, we want to have a strong partnership with them as well, so that we can continue to grow our nonprofit baseball.
So are you considering this here your home field now?
Oh, we always have.
You always have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do you have a league schedule
We do.
that maybe we could
Post on our
it,
website?
Absolutely.
on the website or at the town hall?
Yep.
So if people want to come and take in a game or something?
Absolutely. Yeah, and you will always find it on foxriverbandits.org on our website.
Okay.
Foxriverbandits.org, there's a schedule tab, and you'll find both our U11 and our U12 team schedules on there. We start our home games, U11, on April 16th, so that Tuesday we'll be here for our first home game. So, but everything else is there, but I'm happy to make a special flyer for you guys to put up here as well.
I think the whole board wants to thank them on behalf of the
Yeah.
town for providing you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Happy to do it.
So,
I'll make a motion to approve the signs that were presented by the Fox River Bandits.
Second.
Thank you, gentlemen. That's so nice.
all those
So nice of you
in
guys.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Again, fellas, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And Dan or Mr. Johnson, if you guys get more, just email them. You don't have to
Yeah, I
call.
will.
Sound good? Hope you get a lot more.
Yeah, we're working on it. Thank you.
Thanks
Good
again,
luck on your
guys.
season.
Thank you very much.
How did you finish last year?
My team finished 2 and league-wise 2-12. My other coach finished 8-6. I think
So there's room for improvement.
There's lots of room for improvement. First time at full baseball rules. So we got a new team this year at U11, and we're pretty excited about it. We're in the right league, and things like that. So we're excited to have all the other people come and see Vernon and all its color that's here. So,
Well, good luck.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Item G, Resolution 2019-01, a resolution rescinding and chargeback taxes due to payable error pursuant to Section 74.33 of the Wisconsin State Statutes in the town of Vernon. Madam Clerk, you want to explain
Yes. This was an oversight in regards to development of a new home that went up in the Prairie Side Morning Star subdivision. Unfortunately, in Cal's letter, he stated he assessed the property at the wrong values. He thought the house was much further along than it was. When he did his inspection, he noticed the palatable errors. So he wrote the letter to the board. I put a copy of what the tax bill was, all the dollar signs. I did the resolution based on this happened to the town once before. So what I took the liberty of drafting a resolution as you stated previously, and then what would have to happen is the town board approve the resolution and authorize the town clerk to write the check to the Gerards for the overpayment. And then when we have open book and board of review, what I did for the last, when their assessor's error was done, all that money was refunded back to the town when I applied to the state. So we, in a sense, we are correcting that error, but then the state collects it from the school districts, the county. We were fully reimbursed for the last 2 assessor errors that happened. Unfortunately, Cal felt terrible. I mean, it's embarrassing to make a mistake, but I know Cal did not do it on purpose, so this is the proper procedure, and as I stated once again during Board of Review, I will apply to the state for all the money to be refunded back to the town.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I don't know if you have something to say.
No, go ahead.
I've gone over this 4 or 5 times, and I wanted to get a hold of Cal today, and I just got totally sidetracked. But I'm coming up with a totally different number, except I want to clarify maybe a misunderstanding I have. It says they have paid the first installment of $87.5014 for the 2018 tax. They have not paid anything in addition since then, is that correct?
That's correct.
So if you take 936.5, which are thousands of the actual current assessed value, what it should have been, times 1250, which is the net tax rate, I come up with 11,706.25 due for 18, and then if you subtract the 87.5014, I come up with 29.57.611 due to the town. So our total tax rate in the town, that's with school tax and everything, is $25.50. It's 12.49 something. So I rounded it to $12.50 per thousand. You take 936.5, which is the number of thousands in the actual corrected assessed value, times the $12.50 per thousand, and I come up with 11,706.25, which I see it as being what their tax bill should have been for 18. But then they paid 87.5014. That shows to me a balance to the town of 29.56.11. Unless they made an additional payment, I'm not aware of.
No, and in fact, I did run the resolution, and I asked Cal for the numbers and his letter. So I can't comment on your math and his math. All I can tell you is the dollar amount for the unlawful tax comes to the $5,520.58 based on the assessor's calculations. I can't comment on your math versus his math, but I did have the assessor actually write his letter to the board on what the error was. I actually ran the tax bill for you, and I actually also sent him the resolutions to make sure that the resolution was correct. So the assessors, like I said, Bill, you probably want to call Cal and talk about, the calculations, but the assessor's request is for the town, number one, to approve the resolution, and then number two, to authorize the town clerk to cut a manual check in the amount of $5,520.58.
Question, is there any statutory time limit to return this?
They've been waiting since January.
Well, yeah, but if we got a math problem, we'd say, let's table this and...
Well, these people have been, this is $5,000. He's been waiting since,
Yeah, but if they end up owing us money...
Well, when will, whatever. They don't owe us.
Bill, are you,
Well, according to bills, they do.
where are you getting that 12.2%? Because it
Karen
says,
gave us a
here it's at
copy.
62% complete.
Karen actually gave us a copy of the tax bill,
Yep.
and down at net general taxes, it says 12.4897494, which I rounded to 12.50 per thousand. That's our total net rate for the town after you put in the school tax, and that isn't our town rate at 215. That's the actual total net rate,
Okay.
and that's after lottery. So for 2 days.
But what about the only 62% complete at that time?
Well, I'm using the 936.5, which Cal says is the current assessed value as
Okay.
it stands.
Hmm.
So you take 936.5 would be the number of thousands times the 1250, and I get 11,706.25 minus what they paid, 8750.14, which shows me a balance to the town of 2956.11. And that's why I asked, am I missing the fact that maybe they made an additional second installment payment, which I guess they have not. So I can't figure out where the 5520.58 comes due from the town to them. So I should be able to get a hold of Cal tomorrow and clarify, but I don't know how that's gonna work for us. Timing wise, I just can't vote on this right now based upon the numbers I'm seeing. If I'm missing something, I'm open to hearing what it is.
Yeah, if there's a discrepancy, I'm not gonna push this through.
And I'm glad Karen put the tax bill in there, because that was my first question. What is the total net rate? And what it is for 18,
Right.
5.4897494. So that gives us a number to go off of. So I'd at least want a chance to, I had it on my schedule to get done today, and there were people coming in and out, so I did not get a hold of Cal.
Well, we've got a meeting here the 26th in March, just coming up next week, Tuesday. So if we can get this squared away by then, we can have, you put an agenda out, we're gonna put an agenda out for that anyways, Karen. So we can get that, if it's straightened up, and then we can get that, vote on that, because everybody's gonna be here anyways for that.
Is he going to be able to get a hold of him?
He's gonna try, if we can. We'll see if he does. Right, Bill, you're gonna get all of them?
He's right on the money. If I email him a question about a property issue, he gets right back to me within hours. So I would hope tomorrow I can get a call back from him and discuss it.
Get it squared away.
He can send me his math in comparison to mine. And like I say, if I missed something, I just want to know what it was. And that's why my first question is, did they pay an additional payment since the 87.54?
Okay. Well, then let's table it till the 26th.
Okay.
I'll make that
If you need
motion.
an answer sooner, I should have it
Yeah,
long before then.
I'll make that motion to table it till the 26th.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Hold that one off there. Okay, item H, resolution 2019-02, resolution designated official on election day officials. Madam Clerk?
There is no need for the board to even move on this. This is not a policy or any directive that the board takes. The only thing I just wanted to note is when the attorney, this identical resolution has been presented to many boards since 2000, and all of a sudden now it needs legal review. And so I did call the Wisconsin Elections Commission. This is not an action of the board, so I'm removing my request. But as a courtesy, I do want you to know the people on those lists are the people that on election day will be doing registrations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So no action needs to be taken?
Nope.
So, let the minutes show that.
That I'm removing
Yeah,
it.
and no action taken.
Do you have to sign this then?
No, you have no authority. It has nothing.
Oh, because I have a signature sheet that confused me.
Yeah. Well, I put it in the packet, and the attorney said, "Oh my God, we have to have legal review," and oh my God, this is a crisis. So.
Well, it wasn't when I talked to him.
We wanted to amend the agenda and everything. Yeah.
He did, and I said, I really didn't, I wanted to talk to you first. Because, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I know.
Like $300 every time.
Yeah.
Ordinance 2019-03, an ordinance to repeal and recreate section 22.4, paren C7, and section 23.5 of the Town of Vernon Municipal Code. All right.
Basically, all we changed was the signature requirements, right?
Right. It's in red there, Madam Clerk, has it in red.
That was, again, a resolution that needed a lot of legal. Did you see all the legal work that was done? I'm gonna watch that bill and see how much you charge us for that. Oh, this has to be redrafted, all the,
Yeah,
sorry.
change one signature, one.
I know it.
One paragraph.
I thought he'd do the,
I make the motion to approve ordinance number 1903 as revised.
What is it called, revision?
03.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, do you mind on the next agenda if we put some type of resolution or something together for you guys to discuss who's gonna be the third signature on all the loans and checks, and, because by then we'll know.
Doesn't that cover all of it?
No, but you still have to name, you're gonna have to name someone as,
Oh,
Well, it says here, top
Yeah.
supervisor appointed by the board.
yeah.
it could be changed any time if somebody.
But no, my request is putting this on the next town board agenda to name the person.
Name the person.
What happens when that person is absent and you want to use somebody else? It says you can use anybody on the board, right?
No, you can't, it has to be, you can have a facsimile. No, you can't have,
Can you just change the wording to senior board member, senior town supervisor member? I mean, who's been on
Yeah,
the board
but how do
for
you-
years?
that could be a tie.
This
No,
sounds like you're going to do it at the time of the meeting.
no, absolutely not.
That's how we-
Talk to the bank. You have to have three
Then we got to
designated.
reword it because the way it reads right now, you can do it at the meeting.
No, they are, the person that's designated to sign can sign at the meeting.
I
Well,
know.
they'll just have to do like we do it now. If they're not at the meeting,
Yeah,
we can approve the stuff. If they're not at the meeting, that person has to make a special trip in here then
Right.
to
Yeah.
sign that
Yeah.
check.
and say you got the signature card up at
That's
the
it.
bank, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or they can have a facsimile. You can use, one of the signatures can be a facsimile.
If they're not at the meeting, to sign the checks at the meeting, they'll have to make a special trip in, whoever is designated to do that.
Which if we just, word it was a senior. So for the board members.
Well,
No,
you gotta have
just,
the signature card with it.
Karen, is this basically boilerplate where you just put that
So I'll
terminology?
change possibly every election.
the attorney redrafted that whole, that,
But
It says not reviewed.
then you just gotta.
yeah, it,
Have to
yeah,
change the policy.
yeah.
You know, I don't wanna reword the policy every time.
No.
Yeah, that's how it has been, okay.
Yeah.
He's a has-been, yeah.
What's this?
Nothing.
Did you vote on it? I know it was moved and seconded.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
We have a motion?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you make it?
Yeah, it was you, Ed. No, you made it.
What's in this thing?
It's Bailey's.
Oh, that is 1903, huh?
What is it?
Item J, authorize town chairman to sign the state debt collection agreement. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, board members, this is an agreement that we use when, if I can't put it on the tax bill and they're not making the payment, we do send those uncollectible invoices to the state with an administrative fees and the fees that we've encumbered in regards to mailing for those invoices, and then the state takes it upon themselves to try to collect that debt for the town.
Through the income tax or?
They can garnish,
refunds
yes,
or Whatever.
at no cost to the town.
Oh, just be for local residents?
Oh, anyone that I can collect when if it's a resident,
Right.
I can collect that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you'll see on the accounts receivable, there's people that are children of not
Yeah.
a child, but people that we do rescues for that aren't from our community, that aren't paying their bills. Those people, and or they've gone to AmeriCollect through EMS Medical Building, they can collect. So after everybody's extinguished all their efforts, then the state we'd send it up to the state.
Okay.
And would that
I read this a couple times and I was getting confused. Would they try to go after our Ameritech fees as well?
Yes, yes.
So we'd be made whole with the...
Yes, we don't incur any charges, but there is an administrative fee that before they go up, that's something we probably should put on the fee schedule. But it's an administrative fee. Right now it's $25 plus all of our postage for as many times as we've tried to collect above and beyond the administrative fee.
Okay. I get it.
But the state won't do unless they have a signed agreement. And it has to be signed by the chairman.
Make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the debt collection statement for the state of Wisconsin.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item K, clerk request to void invoice number 5503 in billing error.
Mr. Chairman and board members, this invoice was sent out in error. It should not have been billed to the person on the full statement. That many times when you see that bill, you see when he does a zoning permit for someone, and this is exactly what that was for. It was the town's charge, which we incur for a zoning permit that our administrator does. We do collect a fee for that, and it does cover that fee, but this individual should not have been billed. So, of course, we don't void any invoices without town board approval, and this is why it's here this evening.
Per chapter 5.
Yes.
They didn't submit payment.
No, as soon as I discovered it, I asked my deputy to please don't send any payment, and I'm in the process of taking this to the town board to correct.
I'd like to authorize the clerk to send repayment of $60.50 to that's invoice.
No, it's just authorize the town clerk to void that invoice.
Void that check, that's right.
Thank
Void
you.
invoice 5503,
Thank you.
the amount of $60.50, right?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item L, 2019 fee for recreational late fee per participant and or family late fee.
Just need a little clarification here, guys.
Jeff, you want to handle that? Or?
Jeff, yeah.
Thought we-
No, we didn't. If you look at our fee schedule, it says $15 for late fee. It doesn't say per family. And
Yeah, originally it was $15 per child, and we changed it to a family rate.
$23.
and that's because it's not that way in the fee schedule. It was that way in the newsletter, but before we amend, I would never amend a fee schedule without your blessing. So if your intent is $15 per child or $23 per family for the late fee, that's fine. We just need to amend the fee schedule.
Yeah, that was.
I thought
Well,
it was
my understanding-
family, $23, right?
Yeah.
Or if you just have one child, then it's $15.
Yeah.
If you have two child, you pay the family rate.
Okay, so we gotta just define that a little better.
We'd have to amend the fee schedule because the fee schedule doesn't read that way. And all you would do is authorize the town clerk to amend the 2019 fee schedule to that specific language.
Can we just change non-residential fee, single child, instead of single fee?
This is not, non-residential is clear. It's the late fee that's not clear. The late fee just says $15, but in the newsletter it says $15 or $23 per family for late fees. And if that's, I just need to know board intent so that the fee schedule is correct.
I guess when I first read this, I thought it was single fee for a family was $15. And non-resident for family would be $23, and that's confusing.
If you're a
That's what I say, can we change fee to child, non-resident fee, single child? $15.
Participant, because they're not always kids.
Okay, I just make my comment on.
All right, but my question isn't the late fee. The late fee's clear. It's, excuse me, the
I don't think
non-resident. Non-residents, we have no problem collecting non-residency fees. It's the late fee, the,
Okay,
So you wanna make another column or another line?
no, we'll just
No.
correct it as stated. Whatever your intent is fine. I just would amend the fee schedule to mirror what the town board would like the late fee to read.
Consistent with what,
should be consistent with the letter,
yeah,
or the flyer.
right.
If it is, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I thought we discussed it before and it settled on.
Yeah, I thought that was clear, but
So how do you want the motion to read, Karen?
Just however you want it stated. If you want it identical to the non-residency fee, that's
Yeah.
fine. We could change child to participant.
that would work.
Yeah, I guess we could have adult participants.
We do have adults participants,
so
so it should be participant, not child.
So, motion to make the non-refundable late fee $15 per child or $23 per family.
Got it.
Well, here's the break at that.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Which comes out to 12.
That's us, we don't have to pay.
Is there a second?
I'll support it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Payout for DPW employee bank sick time. This is a letter in your mailbox here. It was marked confidential. Wants to withdraw some sick pay.
Well, we owe them the money.
Yeah, the only thing is, when you do make your motion, I would just ask that if you do choose to concur, that you concur with the letter that was submitted by the DPW employee and authorize the ACH payment in the amount of $7,749.06. I don't think that person
So this is
needs,
getting paid out, not going into his HSA.
it's going into his HSA.
So it's not taxed.
Yes, we're not paying taxes and he's not paying taxes.
And this is, like Gary just stated, this is what he approved before we stopped letting him carry that over.
Right.
It's still his money. It's a non-funded liability. It's part of that yet.
It's over.
I guess my only question is how many installments are we as a board willing to pay out?
You don't have a choice, that's their
We
money.
can't make a one lump sum and insist upon it?
You'd
I
have
asked that last time because you could
You could talk, why don't you talk about that at staff?
it could be reduced later in the game.
I mean,
When John was explaining it, I thought we'd just make one payment and have done with it and close this out.
right.
And he said, no, because going forward, if they miss days that they shouldn't, that would reduce the
Yes.
days that we're paying them for, so we'd be overpaid.
Some of the employees
Carry
have,
forward till they're done.
Yeah. I understand.
So they could be losing some of that, not just
Oh,
gaining.
okay, all right.
So we gotta wait till we're retired to really know the total sum. We
You're
can take
saying-
part of it.
You're saying in 2019, if they incur beyond the allowable sick.
Right.
and that has happened, where they've used, because of an accident or something, they've used,
Yeah.
so that's a
beyond.
benefit for the 3 employees that have that. The new DPW employees don't have that benefit also.
I thought the same thing. It'd be real easy just to pay it off and have done with it, and then we don't have to worry about following it next year. But it doesn't work.
Mr. Chairman, also, when they do make the motion, be authorize an ACH payment in the amount of blank for the DPW accrued sick time.
Can I ask a question? Because I mentioned there's only 2 people I saw for ACH. Is this the third?
There's Kurt, I mean, there's
That have, that you see on payroll?
there's 3 employees.
I
Yes.
saw two for ACH, stated ACH on the payment, on the,
You don't see names on those
no, I saw ACH in two places on the bank statement.
because there's two payrolls. You will always see two ACH transactions for HSA payments because there's two payrolls. Sometimes if we have three payrolls, there's 2 months out of the year where
Would one
there's,
be paid on a different payroll than the other one?
no, whenever there's a payroll, you'll always see an ACH payment made to the HSA to the bank.
They're always contributing money in every paycheck.
That's what I thought.
This is about.
Everybody's holding up three fingers. I only read two of them on there.
Well, there is three people currently now. There were four that were doing it monthly. Now there's three, and now there'll be two. So you still, Ed, will see two ACH withdrawals. You'll always see that every time there's a payroll, you should always see an ACH transaction. Because those people, I'm taking that out of their paycheck. And it has to be paid into their HSA account. So that's why you're seeing that approving.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to allow it. Is that all we have to say?
To authorize the clown clerk, the town clerk, to make an ACH payment for the employee requesting the utilization of the banked sick time in the amount of $7,749.06.
That's my motion.
Okay. The clown clerk has it.
That was a good motion. And I'll second it.
Sorry, guys.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, report on repayment of paid mileage reimbursement claimed by the treasurer.
Well,
We got a repayment?
I'll let Eddie handle this one.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Nope, we don't have her.
Oh.
I think you see in the packet that the good news is it's being continued forward. We have a request from Christy Barr from the police department to provide additional, and she's a detective working on this, to provide additional information to continue the research on how this is going to be handled. Karen has provided some. I don't know if we've got everything.
No, we've done all the financial statements. We're in the process of giving every receipt that they've requested. All the years of service have been supplied so that tomorrow I'm hoping the last of all her requests. She's very appreciative, but you should see the, and
Significant amount.
it's,
It is. I was afraid it was going to exceed the $1,600 in expenses to the town. That was my main concern, that this was quite a list. And I didn't want the clerk's office to have to tackle something.
No, and just so you know, there's reimbursements for me, for Tom, for Gary, for Ed. All the documentation is there, and I just want to make sure. The only thing I'm double checking is I want to make sure every policy that we have is in that packet.
Yep. And I did copy everyone that the police officer that came to my house and talked about this originally. He had requested certain things he said were going to be necessary, and I came over that night. You had it all here. I copied everything
Right.
you wanted, so I gave him a complete listing.
Significant amount of.
Which did show she was able to be trained on the proper way to do that, which was the biggest question. Was she educated? It's a self-education program. That's it.
Okay. Correspondence. We'll start with Bill this time. Bill, you got anything on correspondence?
Well, there was an email I read here, I believe yesterday, came through. It was either correspondence between the Scafidi individual and the county, and you were copying that, Karen, I believe. It made a reference to making a future application, and I know we can't go into discussion on here, but I would like to see on the next agenda this be for discussion, because I strongly feel he was told before by the county to prepare and get them a professional drawing. The last sketch we got from him was still my granddaughter's 3rd grade drawing. We have nothing to scale, very scattered facts about what's going to happen.
Illegible.
3 options. So I'd like that on the agenda so we can discuss. I feel strongly that we shouldn't even have his request on our agenda till we have in hand everything for scale with full details. So, in addition, on our outstanding balances here, there's 282.55 outstanding for planner chargebacks. I feel that's got to be paid before we reconsider also. I don't want to get too far afield, not being an agenda item, but I caught reference in one of the emails going back and forth.
Eddie?
That's it.
I had several calls after a discussion on brush pickup. Almost everyone I talked to was in favor of the spring pickup. It seemed like that was the one where they get all the fallen branches and everything and put it together. 1 or 2 were for the fall, because he said, well, we got trees that fall during the summer, and what happens if the storm comes through? So if the storm comes through, it's a separate issue altogether. It's not brush pickup. Then it becomes a rather an emergency situation for the DPW to handle if it's interfering with life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, you know. But there were several, and I was surprised people were listening apparently, so that's a good news. And that's all I'm going to mention at this point in time. I guess that was good.
I had just had a few calls for explaining the border agreement and went into the discussion on this because people didn't understand exactly what that flyer meant, how this was going to affect them, and primarily the calls were from up and around Hidden Lakes area, and I think they were concerned that
They were getting sold down the road?
yeah, that they were going to be possibly drawn into McGuanago, and I said, no, this border agreement will totally lock out your subdivision from any further expansion by the village of McGuanago into that area. And once you explain it to people, I think they understand exactly what you're talking about. But it has to be explained that so that they understand rather than read a sheet of paper that they may not totally understand what's being presented to them. But that's all that I really had.
I just had one resident talk to me about, he liked the idea of being able to drop off his own brush. So he'd like to see that option further explored.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have anything. Correspondence, anybody have anything for reports? No, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I just wanted to let the board know that I participated in a disaster recovery for elections that was hosted by Waukesha County, put on by the Wisconsin Elections Commission. That was absolutely awesome, about a tornado coming through or flooding, and they put you in the simulation. That was great.
Simulated a tornado?
The town hall actually flooded. We were moving. People were drowning. The poll books went. It was awesome. But anyway, and then John and I did the stormwater workshop that we get credit for. You know, when we do our MS4 permitting, that was an entire day that John and I did that. Senator David Craig will be here on Monday, the 25th of March, from 6:30 to 8, and invite all town residents to come in and speak with David. David will be here personally to talk with his constituents.
What time?
Monday the 25th from 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Okay.
On our website, we also have Mr. Cation is applying to amend his conditional use permit. I did send that on to Heather Ridge subdivision and the Kennel Club so that they are aware of the petition. That public hearing in the village sent us notice, is going to be on March 28th at 6:30. And then I just wanted to clarify for the record, because there appears to be just a little bit of misunderstanding. Out of the 908 signatures of that petition, we verified 793 that were actually in with vote. and there were a few duplicates. We didn't go on, we're not stipulating anything about the other 113 because we only needed 400 and some to qualify the referendum. But, you know, I did want to state that I'm not disputing the other 113 signatures that weren't in list vote, because we do at every election register people that moved in but, you know, I just wanted to clarify that, you know, the amount of signatures, and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Early voting still going on?
Yes, all through the clerk's office from 8 to 3:30, and if you need a special appointment, if you call me and we make an appointment, you can vote anytime.
And when will that end?
It ends on the 30th, on March 30th at March 29th at 5 p.m. Every clerk in the state of Wisconsin has to be open till 5 p.m. on Friday, March 29th. That's the last day you can absentee vote. And the last day you can make one request is on that Thursday, the 28th. I don't know with the Postal Service if you'll get it, but you can make that request. Thank you, Supervisor Millies.
Financial.
Karen, I didn't get a chance to look at my email at all today. Was there a response regarding, I sent you an email asking if it was legal for this board to go and approve handwritten invoices? I didn't believe so.
Is the handwritten invoices.
Handwritten receipts, I'm sorry. Use proper word here. Handwritten receipts for invoices. We had several this time.
Is that the Home Depot one? Is that the Home Depot bill?
Yeah.
No, I did, we called Home Depot and actually got the receipts.
For the fire department?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
Yes, because he didn't turn them in again. So I called Home Depot and asked for those receipts to be placed in your... I did ask Alex, I showed him how our DPW, anytime our DPW guys go to Home Depot, I get a receipt emailed to me right away. So he's going to call Home Depot right away and get that implemented. But the receipts, Supervisor Molina, are in your packet.
No.
They
I
should...
have handwritten receipts in my packet, that's why it is. 65374.
I saw your email, I couldn't find them in my e-packet.
No, I couldn't either.
You don't
I
have
know what
the-
you're talking about, yeah.
You don't have the handwritten receipts.
No, not in the e-packet.
Show it to you.
Where they at?
I don't have it.
People? But
But you did see the ones faxed from Home
Oh,
Depot.
Walmart. Sorry.
oh yeah, there you go.
Right idea, wrong company. Walmart, Karen.
No. I don't have a bill made out
That
to
would
you.
have been
On
probably
the Capital One credit card?
Capital One credit card. I would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Walmart, did I said Home Depot?
What's this one here?
The Walmart is still, which one is that?
That's mine.
Right.
Yeah, you got it right. Yeah, you're right here.
So you have handwritten
Right here.
receipts.
Yep, right here.
Wasn't it just specifying what was being on the receipt? Because there were more.
When I go buy something, right up what I bought.
No, he said clearly, he needs to clarifies, this here clarifies what these items here are.
Yeah. It's just numbers.
You're right, and I think it's right. It's,
He's got cabinet boardroom, I don't see that anywhere. Windshield fluid, I don't see that anywhere. Glue stick, that I see.
yeah, you're right.
I tried to tie him out. See what I'm talking about, Karen?
Okay, so from now on every receipt, you want me to write what's windshield wiper fluid, what's...
No.
This
No,
is
I want a
mine.
copy of the receipt.
This is the receipt right here.
I don't want a cash register receipt because it just shows a price. It should tie out to what is being said is on the written receipt.
What Ed is saying is, this here, Karen, does not jive with the printed receipt. He's got extra things on there that.
No, this is mine. This is a he. This is me.
Oh, okay. No.
So that's my question now. You want me to ask Walmart to write out windshield wiper fluid? How do you want me to do this now? Because I'm picking up a ton of stuff for DPW too now. So I just need to know how you want me to.
Oh, I see. Did they give you a shopping list?
So the total for the receipt is $95.56.
Come to that one. Show me a word on it. Show me a noun on
Yeah. Yeah, this here, Walmart's really tough.
it. They're bad. You gotta
Well,
catch
I
them.
don't make their receipts.
No,
I don't know how to.
I try to interpret them for my own personal when I shop there, and it's really hard to pin down. They go by codes, so many different kind of codes. And if you don't know what their code is, you don't know for sure exactly that's what you
Well,
bought.
I just won't shop there anymore. I can't change your receipts.
So what do we come up with a consensus here? What?
It's just the Walmart receipts are confusing.
Okay.
So what? How do you want me to? I can't change Walmart. What do you want me to
No.
do? I mean, you have to pay this bill, otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it just it added more confusion when you wrote down the items.
I won't buy. I won't shop there anymore. I'll buy everything at Walmart. I mean, on Amazon. Then you can see what it's. I just won't shop there anymore. I can't change their receipts.
Okay. All right. So, accounts payable, is there a motion?
But they do match up with what's in the APs for capital. I mean, it's not, the numbers don't,
The dollar's there.
it's just the receipts are confusing.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the APs, or batch number 20190321 in the amount of $88,267.95.
Second.
Did anyone else have a problem with Elm Tree, the dollar amount? I'm seeing some sense off here. I got 1129.54.
I can try to do the totals on this one.
It's 1130.15, so very close. I don't know where.
Is there a second page in this?
Yeah, we get a couple of pages here, and I put them all together. And there's no tax charge.
No.
So I got 184.24, 529, and 6, 416.85.
We have the invoice, what the invoice total says match up what's in our packet, but I didn't add the three together to make sure that 1130.15 is correct.
I keep coming up with 1129.54.
What's going on?
Anyone else have a question on that footwear?
No, that's that $200 that we,
Bill, I just added them up and I got the same numbers.
You got,
1130.15.
oh, you did get it.
Yeah.
Boy, what am I doing wrong? 424, 529.06, 416.20. Oh, I'm sorry. 416.85. Okay, that'll do it.
Okay.
Karen,
Want some?
What's that?
Jeff, you guys are sharing that coffee, aren't you? Yeah.
Is that what it is, coffee?
Yeah, I think it is, I'm sorry.
It's resolved, Karen, I misread a number, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, I was just gonna take it back and,
Now, I only have one other question, this, Casey Shock. It says $200 for footwear with replacement, and the sales slip shows $253.44 with tax.
we don't pay tax.
So aren't we just reimbursing the 200?
Yep.
It should be 225.
I thought we increased that, right?
What did John,
253.44.
Yeah, okay, the whole bill.
oh, that has to be changed. What does John have on his statement?
He's got this little handwritten,
Okay.
and then a little stub, a sticky note next to it saying.
200.
Yeah, 200.
John authorized 200?
Yeah, we did raise.
Yes, he authorized 200.
Yeah, but the invoice is for 253.
Didn't we increase that?
220, it's 225. Yep, yep,
That was only 200.
nope.
Oh, shoes are expensive.
I knew we kicked it up, I can't remember what we kicked it up for.
I gotta see if I can get to that. I'm positive it's 225. I don't know, oh, I can see if I get to this.
So in other words, John's note should say 225.
Yep.
not 200. Okay.
I just wanna check that. I don't know if it's under policies or,
Karen, at 65397, did you get the reference?
I'm just trying to find the policy.
Oh,
Because I'm sure it was, what was it before?
I thought it was 150 before, I thought we raised it to 200.
yeah, I thought we put 50 bucks in.
Yeah, the, we're on.
Yeah, that's raised too, right?
Invoices for 253.
And that's what,
That's the change, yeah.
that's what the check got.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, the John Road paid 200.
Yeah.
Policy for maintenance of, oh shoot, water cisterns. Come on, every time you want a policy. Okay, it's not under regular policy, so it's gotta be DPW.
Jeff, just so you know, I'm not so senile that I didn't add right. I added right, but the wrong number.
The wrong number,
Which is worse, I don't know.
See, it's Rick Fisher, I so cross you get the wrong number.
Oh, it's in his packet.
Yeah, that's what's in, John says 200.
Oh, that's got, it was 125.
And we raised it
I know we did.
I thought it was 150.
200.
I thought 200, that's what.
That's what-
And John's got the sticky note.
It's 200.
I'm sure John would look it up on his.
Yeah, it's 200.
Okay.
So we have to take what the,
$53.14 off.
44.
Okay.
53.44.
Yeah.
53.44.
Good catch, Bill.
What was it, 53.44?
Correct. Changes the total.
So it's 88,214.51. 88,214.51.
Change my motion to that.
Okay.
Gary, you still support?
Yep. I'll second it.
Any more?
That's all I had.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I accept. Manual checks, Madam Clerk, are there any?
There are none, sir.
Checks. Accounts receivable aging?
I just wanted to know which report. I thought in ACS I could, Supervisor Moline, which I concur, didn't want to see the 30, 60, or, wanted to see something else. So I did one in an Excel spreadsheet. And I could do that every month, so it's a little more clear what's the, I can run them both for you, or do one or the other, or whatever you
The second
prefer.
one is, I think is a nice one.
I like the second one too.
The Excel
Can
spreadsheet?
you run that to 120?
Oh, yeah, yep.
That was missed. I mean, in the notes we said 120, but this stopped at 90, but that's fine.
Is that,
Good detail.
yeah, and
I like
then
that.
I will do letters to those other two gentlemen, ask them to come in and talk to you, because before you know it, it's going to be tax time, and if they don't talk to you, it's going to go on their tax bills.
Yeah.
So there's no formal motion. I just wanted to see what you guys like.
I have one question on the aging report, that third name down. Am I remembering correctly, is that person paid by our park and rec for working? That name sounds so familiar.
I got to find my aging report.
Should be done for- really.
That was over 120.
No. You mean, does she work for?
Yeah, umpire or reffing for park and rec. That name is so
Oh,
familiar.
yeah, that is a child, yep.
Okay. But as an umpire, being paid as an
I think I'd have to ask Mike, but I don't know if she still does, but
Because my next question would be whether we can do anything in the way of garnishing.
no, absolutely not.
You have to go to court.
Absolutely not. You can't touch somebody's payroll unless you have a court order.
Oh.
Yep, yeah.
ACH?
ACH transactions, you'd have to make a formal motion to approve those.
Is there a motion?
To approve what?
The ACH transactions for February of 2019.
Oh. So moved.
108. Wait. There's a little tape total. Tape total's on the back.
Mine just had to read it for the cover. I'll make a motion.
108.
ACH payroll, the amount of $108,850.58.
And then you support it?
Yes.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Can you back up a second on the treasurer's report? The park impact fee account, didn't we use all that money up?
No, in fact, I just got a call from the bank because they charged us $10 on our statement for going under 1,000. I didn't know it was that type of an account that.
Can't we get rid of it?
No, I mean, because
I thought we used all the money in the
Yeah,
park thing.
well, we
I
tried.
agree.
there were $400 and some dollars left, and they charged us $10, and I wrote to them, they refunded it, and they have it as a non-bearing account until it hits $1,000.
So it's okay to leave it, that
Oh, it has to be segregated.
it has to be a segregated
How do we
account.
eliminate that?
Then you don't charge impact fees anymore.
No, but I said, how do we eliminate the balance?
I did.
Totally?
They refunded the $10, and they just keep the account as a non-interest bearing.
Yeah,
Right,
you
but there's
can't-
still $400 or something.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
question is, how do you get rid of
How do
that?
we get rid of that? That $400?
You'd have to come up with another program to get rid of it.
Well, or see if John's got more expenses for that field.
How about those
Yeah.
benches that got destroyed? Did they get replaced?
That's in a different location. We can't
You
use
can't
it.
use it for
Well,
replacement?
let's
It has
talk
to
John
be-
and Find out if we can use it up, and then we can clear that account out.
Because
Well, like the
you can't buy a,
We're gonna continue to have it as long as we have buildings going on, right?
there's another deposit going in.
Yeah.
Every time a new home goes up, money goes in there.
And we just got a $800,000 home coming.
All right. February financials, 2019 financials, any comments?
I would like to ask that Mike comes in and tells us what he's doing for sponsorship.
Yeah, I just talked to him today. He said he's sending out all the sponsorship letters in the mail here this week, so it should be out.
I'd like a list of what he's doing. Is that 2, 3, 4? Who's he going after? I gave him a bunch of names. I don't know if he ever followed up. I know he didn't last year, but have you seen anything this year? No? Well, it just went out. It's March. It just went out.
I know.
We pay him from January through December. It's starting to bother me that we're not getting much out of that, I'll tell you.
Jeff, you sent that, was that an email today or yesterday?
No, I just verbally talked to him.
That was good, because that's exactly my thinking, that what's going on? I mean, and this 10% is a gravy train for Park and Rec. What are you doing to earn the land you own? Nothing. You know? I mean, that 10% advertising for this. Free money.
And they need it if they're going to survive. I mean, it keeps it in repeating ours again. That's why we sell.
You wanna bring him in next time? Next meeting?
I like him to come in and explain what he's doing and, you know, what's his marketing effort, because I wasn't here when he was hired, but I understand one of the qualifications was the marketing. He was very, very good at marketing.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you make a note of that, you send him either an email or a letter that requests his presence at the next town board meeting?
We haven't seen him in a long time, yeah. I'll buy him a coffee.
Mr. Chairman, I just want the board members to know that they're going to see some franchise payments that were made in February that are applicable to 2018 fees. You're going to see that in ambulance fees. So when you see all those great revenues coming in, that's for last year. So just wanted, I mean, January, February, March are kind of months, but just want you to know.
Okay.
Did I see something from Howard saying he was wrapping up the project? I saw an invoice. Does that mean he's getting real close to the...
He's been, Howard, as you know, it logs into our software at any point in time. He can look and see what's going on. And I'm getting boxes ready. I think he's coming next week for our audit, so it should be starting soon.
I had a conversation, like I mentioned, with Alex about going forward and bringing those funds back in 2018. I'd like to know where we're at with that when we get around to his question about can he use that for something.
Yeah,
Did
you
he
won't
actually end up ahead or behind?
You won't know until the audit's done, because he's just, this Home Depot bill was from, you saw those bills were from December,
Yeah, it was this way.
so.
What do you hope the audit done by? When do we?
He always has it done, always by May you'll have your answer.
Okay.
All right, approval of minutes for March 7th, 2019.
One question regarding page 2, paragraph C, page 2, paragraph C. Was that environmental quarter delineation or was that wetland delineation that we are going to surface on those 3 Vernon properties?
Environmental corridor,
It is environmental quarter.
but the one property declined.
Okay, just wanted to know.
The annexation property didn't want it.
No?
So we took, so it's just the 2.
Okay. I mentioned it on D. I don't know if John's had a chance yet, but we had asked John to come in with develop a site plan of operations for a bulk drop-off site.
He knows.
Is that carried forward on, so we keep that in mind, we want that?
Oh, he's working on it, but he's well aware you want that for the fall.
Yeah. Okay.
He's working on it.
Okay, I'd like it before fall, but it's an idea of what we're doing.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the minutes of March 7th.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, Madam Clerk, because I wasn't here.
Good call.
He's just laying around.
Yep.
All right, next meeting dates, town board is April 7th.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, it's April 4th, I'm sorry.
April 4th,
Sorry.
April 4th. The Guanago Border Agreement meeting, we will be on March 26th from 5 to 7. Town of Vernon annual meeting is April 16th at 7 p.m. Public hearing for comprehensive land use plan is April 19th
17th?
or 17th. And the time is, did you put that in there?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. And
That's combined board meeting with plan commission.
For the public hearing, yep.
Yeah, for the public hearing.
And cooperative non-binding advisory referendum, May 7th. Polls open at 7 a.m. till 8 p.m., both locations.
How many people are you gonna use for that?
7.
7? You gotta use 7 people for
7 and a greeter, yep.
Did you ever come up with a final
figure?
figure on what that's gonna cost the town?
No, I'm working with the printer. I'm just trying to decide how many ballots to order.
20.
So we gonna have early voting and absentee voting too with that, or?
Only 2 weeks before. Because of the April 2nd election, I can't do absentee balloting any earlier than 2 weeks before April 7th.
Oh.
I found that kind of hard to believe that Ordner was spinning that it was the town board's fault. Did any of you guys go out and pass a petition around?
Nope.
I didn't either.
No.
So, I don't know how he figures that one. That's really skewed. So, all right. What?
They're the ones who requested it
Yeah, I know.
by petition.
Any public comments? Any public comments? There's only one public here.
Hi, public.
No public comment, no public comments. Adjournment.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? At 7:55. Thank you, gentlemen.
Karen, did
Yes.
this just come in today, the fire report?